Folks, hello and welcome to Gamers Health, the weekly live stream with myself, my wife Rachel. I'm Rach Tenkar, and we talk about all things that impact gamers' health, just events going on in our real lives. Because you know what, real life doesn't stop because of gaming. Real life doesn't stop because of the pandemic. Well, it stopped for about a year and a half because of the pandemic, I guess, but we've been taking steps to uh, reintroduce ourselves to real life. This week has been, even today, today wasn't supposed to be this warm, but it still broke 90. So from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we were like mid to, I guess, mid 90s, 96, 97. Uh, Not fun temperatures here in New York. New York, it's
Mm-mm.
very humid, and because probably of all the asphalt and
You feel it a lot more, I think.
yeah, it doesn't cool off as
Mm.
much as maybe outside the urban areas. The asphalt, the cement sidewalks, it all retains the heat,
The brick.
the brick.
Mm.
So yeah. Oh, excuse me. I had Charlie's cheesesteaks for dinner, and it's repeating on me. I beg your forgiveness.
Mm.
But in any case, earlier this week, despite the heat, we actually went out. So yes, changed. When it's hot, people want to stay inside, and believe me, I understand that completely. But we went out, hopped in the car, drove out to Long Island, and picked up our niece because we had a date with our niece. So Pinky, if you're listening, and I don't think she's listening live, but I've been
Yeah.
told that uh,
She does
she
watch.
does watch, and there are no secrets from Pinky. Dun dun dun. So we went out and we picked her up, and the local mall out in that area of Long Island is Roosevelt Field, which has been a staple for us for years.
And it's a renowned shopping place. It's very, very large.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty.
like very expensive, like anchor stores. You've like Neiman Marcus and oh, Bloomingdale's. You have what's the other Nordstrom's?
Macy's,
Yeah. So it's you know.
Dick's. There's
Oh,
another Dick's is another anchor store because,
that's true.
but you know, it was a hot day. The week wasn't really going to get any cooler next couple of days, and we had our date with Shannon. We hadn't done an actual shopping excursion date with Shannon for well over a year and a half because of COVID. Right? I mean, that's just the elephant in the room, but it's reality. We haven't been doing conventions until recently, and although Rach and I are supposed to be going to ShireCon next month and Game Hall in October, who knows what the near future brings, right? We don't know. Gen Con has already gone from we expect everybody to be vaccinated to we're not worried about vaccinations anymore. Everybody's wearing a mask, vaccinated or not.
It sounds like they're confused and they don't know what they were supposed to be quoting.
Well,
Let them figure it out. Take a couple more months.
well, they
It's
don't have
okay.
they don't have a couple more months. They got just over a month to go. So
Yeah, but didn't they punt it to
they
from
did. They
July
did.
to September? And maybe
Yeah.
punt it to December till you can
Well,
make up your mind and see which science you want to follow.
it sucks. Okay, because there really is no straight answer in the
Yeah.
midst of all this stuff. But we really it was overdue, and uh, you know what? If you're not living, are you living? Right? I mean, if you aren't experiencing life, how do you know you're alive? And
Mm-hmm.
uh, we all went through it last year, right? We all went through the uh, birthday parties in December, held outdoors with chairs in New York, right? Like the social distancing, at least 6 feet between, and you put the gift in the middle, and then everybody takes a step back. We did that.
Yeah.
We really fucking did that, and that You can't continue doing that. Human nature, humans need contact, right? We kind of joke about it and say, oh, human contact, right? No, we need it. You need personal contact with people, with your family, with your friends. And without that, it really um, comes down to, for a lot of people, um, isolationism. You feel isolated.
I mean, I haven't seen my family in,
Uh, Christmas 2019.
yeah. So
Honestly, and we gotta fix that.
we're going 2 years, so we'll see. But
And
we're working on it.
yeah, I mean, human nature is not meant to be isolated. Yes, we're meant to deal with temperature extremes. And honestly, I don't really enjoy temperature extremes, but I can deal with the cold more than I can deal with the heat. But you know, those of you that live in a permanently hot climates of like Florida, Georgia, Southern California,
God bless you.
God bless you. I would say the prayer in Latin if I knew it, but seriously, uh, I couldn't. I couldn't. Uh, our friend Zach and his wife Jen live out in Arizona, and yeah, no, it's a dry heat. Fuck you.
Yes, Chris.
Oh yeah.
Our son says the same thing.
Well, now he's out in Atlanta. You don't think he says it's a dry
He
heat?
hasn't been talking about dry heats anymore.
No, not yeah. No. Utah was a dry heat. Atlanta's not. Atlanta's a muggy fucking heat. But in any case, part of life is you have to yes, you can adapt to the heat. I wouldn't adapt to the heat. I'll be honest with you. But part of life is adaptation, right? We've adapted to this whole physical isolationism with everything from Zoom calls for work, right? To VTTs and not really Google Hangouts anymore, but Discord and Skype and other Roll20 for your virtual games, for your virtual conventions. But as much as much of gaming has gone to VTTs. Oh man, it was a good sandwich, but repeating a little bit on me. But much as gaming has moved on to VTTs and to compensate for that lack of face-to-face, person-to-person, my understanding from people that run conventions that over the last year or two, like they've missed 1 or 2 years of conventions and they've run virtual conventions, the virtual numbers do not come close to the physical numbers. And you would think, hey, it's easier. Anybody can go to a virtual convention.
Yeah.
But the commitment isn't there. You go to a physical convention, you're committed to going to those games, right?
Right. I guess people kind of punch holes in it and like, oh, it's just not the same. Yeah, but then like what do? You just a whole lot of nothing?
Yeah, probably. Again, it isn't the same.
Not good.
I've been playing VTTs for well over a decade. And with the right group, it can certainly emulate face-to-face gaming with the right group and voice and hopefully video. Yes, you can do it. But yeah, it doesn't do it right away. You don't get that right away. And I think for a lot of groups, not having that face-to-face gaming has been rough. And conventions, not having that face-to-face gaming. Pickup groups, I don't think work as well with VTTs. You don't get that from chemistry, I guess. But yes, isolation and covering half our faces is certainly unnatural. And listen, let's be honest. I was the first person that raised my hand. Let me get my hand in here and went, yes, I've been vaccinated, and you're now telling me that the science says I can go outside and not wear a mask? Woo-hoo! And then it became, Oh, wait, I'm vaccinated. You're telling me I can go inside and not wear a mask? Woohoo! And now you're telling me I got to wear a mask again if I'm inside?
Yeah.
Or if I'm outside? Like the Gen Con one. And I've mentioned this before, but I think this is relevant to our discussion here. With Gen Con, it's if you are going to attend Gen Con, you must wear a mask at all times indoors and all times in a crowded situation outdoors. Okay. What defines a crowded situation outdoors? I don't know, right? If you can't maintain your 6 foot space, but what if you are? And then can you say that you don't need a mask? But if you're eating or drinking, you don't need to wear a mask. So remember those hats that were popular back in the 90s and early aughts, the ones that people were wearing to the ball game, and they put their beer can in the hat, and the big straw went down to their mouth. Hey, I'm sucker.
That was popular.
Listen, it wasn't popular among. We didn't go to many sports games. We didn't go to any sports games as a couple, but there were people that were wearing that shit. You'd see it on TV.
Oh.
Okay. Rach doesn't watch sports. All right, but they'd have that straw going, right? Is that if I get the hat and I go to Gen Con, can I just not wear a mask?
Well, you'd have to cut a hole in your mask.
Well, yeah.
And get the straw through, and good luck,
Good luck is right. And not for nothing.
It's interesting. One of the yoga studios that's been open for a little while now in our area, they're getting ready for September 13th because that's D-Day when people have to show their Excelsior pass or their
Excelsior
vaccination status to gyms and restaurants and that kind of stuff in order to be able to activities to be able to take part in activities that are indoors. And so what they were saying is that they're not mandating masks in there. The mandate was for the vaccinated people, and what they've read in the science is that the chances of contracting the virus among 100% vaccinated people is very small.
Well,
so
here's the thing.
Yeah.
If you are
fully,
so
they were going to continue with it without masks.
If you are fully vaccinated, we're not going to be misquoting a certain elected official who said you're not going to get sick if you're vaccinated. All right, that's not true. Right. If you're vaccinated, you can certainly contract the virus. But the vaccination, as pointed out by James, means that you should have minimal danger of being hospitalized or worse. Yes, you can get a nasty cold out of it. Yes, you can actually shed the virus, but not as strongly as somebody who's unvaccinated. But you should not be debilitated or worse from it because the vaccine gives you a resistance. I don't think we should call it an immunity because when we think about immunity in gaming terms, right? It's immune to all but silver and magical weapons. Oh, gee, I need a silver and magical weapon. No, this is more like magic resistance, right? It's a percentage. You get
interesting analogy. I like this.
It's not an all or nothing, and I think that's where it's like, oh, there's breakthrough cases. People are getting sick that actually are immunized. Yeah, if you paid attention, we knew that in the beginning. It doesn't mean that the vaccines are not.
Nobody promised anything except for a certain someone.
I never promised you a rose garden, but you have part of one outside. But it's not just roses, right? Again, very few vaccines, if any, like maybe what smallpox vaccine or chickenpox, is pretty much damn near 100% effective. The flu vaccine is a hit and miss every year.
I don't know if is there a chickenpox vaccine?
It was when I was a kid.
Really?
Chickenpox, measles, rubella. That was the holy trinity of vaccines. If you didn't have your vaccine, you couldn't go to college without having.
I thought it was mumps, measles, and rubella.
Oh, maybe it was. I don't fucking.
And I just thought the chicken pox everybody got when they were a kid.
Yeah,
and that created the
what wasn't the chicken pox deal? Expose you. Oh, so and so has chicken pox.
They were like, "Oh, we gotta get them all sick," and then
that's how my school was. One person came out with chicken pox, and every mother was like, "Get my son over there. They got to get exposed to the chicken pox.
Don't you want to play with Johnny?
You get it. Let's get everybody sick, and then I think actually me and my sister both got chicken pox at the same time. So my parents were really fucking thrilled, but I guess they got it out of the way.
I think me and my sister probably around the same time, because I was a baby and she was like maybe 2.
Yeah. So I mean, this is the thing. Life continues, right? So now New York City is afraid to put a mask mandate back into place because a mask mandate starts shutting down businesses, right? So instead of a mask mandate, they're doing what Rach is saying. They're putting in this partial vaccine passport deal. Like you can go to a restaurant, but you can only eat outdoors if you're not showing your vaccine passport. You know what?
Well, they're also trying to use that to force compliance.
Right. But here's the issue. All right. And it's where it becomes sticky. And it's just pointed out, I think Lou Rossman pointed out on his YouTube channel, you are forcing people who make minimum wage, right? The barista, the hostess, your bartender, right? You're requiring people, the receptionist at your gym that make minimum wage to enforce a law that is highly discriminatory. Because if you look at the numbers, especially in New York City, African Americans are the ones that are getting vaccinated the least. Their reasoning is valid, or at least valid for them. I'm not arguing for the reason why they lean more towards not getting vaccinated. But now you're telling them, well,
you can't participate in life. Sorry.
Right. And there's this whole push by the city. Well, private businesses should follow along with this, and the city is with its employees. Well, you need to get fully vaccinated or be tested, I think, at your own dime on a weekly basis.
I think so, too, because I don't know that insurance would cover a weekly test.
So,
I mean, otherwise I would expect at the city's expense, since they're...
Yeah, you would think, but that's not really how this goes. So,
I mean, obviously in a medical setting, they could go to test in that setting. But if it's not a medical setting, then good luck finding where you're going to get tested.
Well, and here's another aspect of this, right? These are mandates that are unfunded, all right? It's not like these private employers are being compensated for enforcing this brand new restriction on their business, right? If they pass on to, well, here's your aggravation pay of an extra $3 an hour because somebody's going to box your lights out when you ask them for their private medical information. That's not being offered, right? There's all these unfunded mandates. Oh, no evictions, no rent collection. That's an unfunded mandate for the people that are still having to pay their property taxes, pay their utility bills, pay their mortgage, and pay their house insurance. So, really, where does this go? Where does it land on? I think we're learning a lot of things from COVID, and part of what we're learning is that yes, our government on multiple levels, federal, state, and local. I don't want to call it incompetent, but it is insufficient for the task at hand. It is, it is often we say we have way too many civil servants and civil employees. I'm not arguing the point. I was one. All right. But I am going to say that in these times and these measures, we're seeing all these holes appear, all these unfunded mandates. And that falls on you and me, really, when it comes down to. And when there's less money left for you as a taxpayer for whatever reason, after taxes, that's less for you to spend on the economy. And that's another reason why there's no mask mandate. No mask mandate in New York, because you want that city to come back after the holiday. Labor Day weekend is when they're hoping for the city to reopen offices. And now Facebook, Google is like, oh, we're punting to next year. All you're doing is you're hurting the businesses that survive off of,
like those little restaurants or
and bodegas and little stores. Yes, they're all hurting because of that.
The cart guys, like the coffee cart dudes.
Yeah. So this is trickle down economics in a manner that was never envisioned when we first heard about trickle down economics.
And nothing's trickling anywhere.
Well, it's
or very little trickle.
Well, that's what it's turned into. It's like
truly a trickle.
Truly a trickle. They turned off the faucets. So I didn't expect us to get stuck on COVID, but it is the elephant in the room, right? So, Well, here's the thing. Like today, my sister came over with our niece Shannon. We had a great time. None of us masked because the 3 adults are all immunized, so Shannon didn't have to wear a mask. And we were sitting out the backyard at one point, and it was like, wow, last year we were sitting out in the backyard.
Yes, that was how we visited.
With masks on and social distanced. And yes.
Were we masking them?
Yes.
Outside?
I think so. And it was just bizarre. And, here's the thing. When we talk about COVID, we talk about risk, right? And for me, and for Rach, we are those. Yes, we have comorbidities. So again, we're gamers, right? At least I'm a gamer. I'm somebody who for years has been concerned about things like odds and patterns, and I did statistics, I did crime stats, and I read a lot of this crap. And I said to myself, and especially when my parents were initially eligible, I said, folks, you're at risk. The risk of you getting sick from this vaccine that has an emergency authorization is significantly less than the risk factor if you would happen to come down with COVID. So we got them vaccinated. And then Rach, we were expecting her to have to go back to the office. So when a vaccination came up, it was like, yes, let's get you vaccinated. And when my vaccination came up, obesity, congestive heart failure, high blood pressure, cancer survivor. I think I've knocked off enough comorbidities. And I was like, yeah, I think that my risks from COVID is a lot greater than my risk of having an adverse reaction to the vaccine. I cannot say for any of my viewers or listeners what your situation is. You have to make those decisions based upon your risk factors. Again, only you can make that decision with your medical professionals that you trust. But I hear all these fucking talking heads, whether it's on YouTube or it's, oh God, even worse, on one of the 24-hour news channels or in Facebook communities, and either pro-vax or anti-vaxxers. You know what? Listen, the numbers are what the numbers are, and anybody who tells you that getting vaccinated is going to keep you from getting the COVID is full of shit. And anybody that says, well, you get the vaccine, it's going to kill you, you know what? They're full of shit too. My opinion, the vaccine is much more likely to protect you than it is to hurt you. But if you don't have a risk factor involved, and if you did contract COVID, the vast majority of chances are that you will likely not be severely impacted, then maybe the vaccine is not the right choice for you. Again, this is something that is for every person to figure out. It should not be mandated by the government. It should not be mandated by New York City. The way it's being implemented, it's regressive. It is actually impacting poorer communities more than it is middle class and upper class communities. And it's impacting minority communities more than it's impacting communities of like say like maybe the white community. The Asian community is highly vaccinated, so you're not impacting them by putting in these um, restrictions on where people can go, but you are certainly impacting these at risk communities by saying, "Oh, you can't go into a gym. No, you can't work out. You can't keep yourself healthy because you haven't been immunized." It's regressive. I don't understand. I see where it's coming from, but I don't understand how it could be lost. The connection can get lost in translation. It's like we've spent the last year and a half, right, during COVID, seeing all these issues hit the news, all these issues dealing with, dare I say it, social justice. And now, because of COVID, we're going to do social injustice. And it just blows my mind. It really does. I don't see how, you can argue the same thing from different ends and come to this conclusion.
It's true.
But finally getting, maybe we're getting past this. Something that I did notice when we were shopping at Roosevelt Field, and this is something that I had not noticed.
Yeah, security was crazy tight.
Well, not only
in certain spaces.
Well, and actually, I didn't even tell you about one part of the incident. There is when you all were in Lush. And now, by the way, everything is really. It used to be when you went to a mall, right? These stores would have 3 or 4 ways in. A big opening. A lot of these, especially when they're on a corner spot of the indoor aisle, on that mall strip, and they were very opening. Nope, not anymore. Now they challenge you down to one entrance and one exit. Now, there's a couple of reasons why you could say that. You could say that, all right, well, apparently theft is up, and I would say, yeah. We've seen that going on in San Francisco, so I'll say it's probably happened in New York too. When the penalty for committing a crime is lessened, right, or there's less chance of anybody taking action against you, the odds are that more people will commit it. But not only that, we have an employment issue, and the employment issue isn't that people. There's a disconnect, right? There's the element of super unemployment that's been going on with the enhanced unemployment, and it's useful, right? My sister's been unemployed. She is a tutor at a local college, and because of COVID, she was laid off and doesn't know if her job is going to come back. And as she put it, when her unemployment ends, she's not going to be able to make the certain income that she was making before. I understand. But here is the issue. People, the employment rate.
Sorry.
It's okay. But yeah, I know. But the employment, what even with the minimum wage of $15, right? It's not the wages that people were making prior. But people that were making $15 an hour aren't looking to go back to work at $15 an hour if they are getting unemployment at that rate. So a lot of these stores are all over. I could see help wanted, right? Help wanted signs everywhere. And people aren't stepping up. Why is that? Well, people would say, well, if there's, that means that unemployment must be low, right? Because if unemployment is low and there's a lot of people looking to employ people, then unemployment must be low because nobody's stepping up. Well, nobody's stepping up because, and for some people, the unemployment benefits are greater than the salary they were taking. And they're not going to go back to a salary that is the same or almost the same. Why would you, right? So there is this weird juxtaposition. So some industries are very underemployed. And they
understaffed.
Well, but they're underemployed. I guess understaffed.
People are underemployed, taking shitty jobs. That
I guess so.
But places that they're understaffed.
But they're still understaffed.
Yeah.
We see a lot of this in the restaurant industry, but it isn't just the restaurant industry. Again, these were stores in the mall, and you look at it. Now, one thing prior, Coach never had. You could walk into the Coach store there. There was never a line. There was never. Now the security guard only lets like 2 or 3 people into the Coach store at a time. You can't tell me that's because of COVID.
Because of COVID.
That's not because of that's because people are
Louis Vuitton the same way.
That's because of no cash bail in New York State, right?
It's gotta be.
It's no cash bail in New York State if you're committing a nonviolent crime, and shoplifting is a nonviolent crime unless somebody tries to stop it, you use force, and everybody's told not to stop anybody who's committing a crime. So, even if you do get arrested, you're going to get right out. So these are little things that affect society on different levels. It affects prices on your consumer goods are going to go up because salaries are in the long run probably going to go down on average. Right? I can't see them rising in this current situation. And price of consumer goods are going up. I heard this is just tangential, but I heard that there is another issue with shipping from China. That another port got closed down temporarily because of COVID. Oh, so now there's already this backlog of shipping from China from COVID shutting things down for months, and now we have this. Shipping costs, as Steve Jackson Gaines brought up, has tripled for container ships over the last year. So these are all things, again, this all trickles down. You think those prices aren't going to get passed on to you? Guess what? You got another thing coming. Well, thank you. Well, we've actually we were actually told that yesterday at our local pub. We're a very cute couple walking down the street. But, I consider myself truly blessed. I really do. As I said elsewhere in other times, Rach and I found each other at that point in our life where we were no longer looking, which is probably why it works so well. Because neither one of us was willing to compromise and take less than what we deserved.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that neither one. I was never looking for perfection because I am far from fucking perfect.
Shit.
Okay.
Same here.
But I wasn't
gonna take any shit either. Like
I found the right person that I don't want to do that movie line of "you complete me," but
you had me at hello.
And maybe I had you at. Your father had a lymphoma? Oh my God. I had Hodgkin's lymphoma. This is bizarre, one of those connections. But she makes me look good. Yeah, well, you know what? When you are with a good-looking woman, yes, you tend to look, and she makes me look younger. It was 6 years ago when I was still 48. When I got offered or maybe I was just 49. When I got offered a senior discount at Friendly's with my niece Shannon. Pinky, if you're listening, you wanted me to take that discount. But I got, my hair was longer. When my hair gets long, it gets gray. And
you were wearing a beard.
Yeah, I was wearing
and we were getting it at Taco Bell, too.
Oh, yeah, we were getting it at Taco Bell.
So it was like Senior Tuesdays or something. And then we caught on. We're like, oh, yeah, we'll have to go on Senior Tuesday. They always hook us up.
You know what? It was kind of funny when you're in your 40s and you're getting that. But when you're in your 50s, you no longer want it. You really want to... You want to look younger than you are.
Well, it was funny in the Friendlies. We had a couple of surfers. Like one would just confirm, like, "Oh yeah, you always get the senior discount, right?" And then another one was like, "The senior discount today." Like a little more tentative to not.
Like I don't want to insult you.
A little more apologetic.
I don't want to insult you, but you look like an old fuck. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. It's like, well, I guess, listen, my niece was like 5 at the time, and I guess they figured, well, and it was just the two of us. He's got to be too old to be her father. He must be the granddad. But I guess you make it work, right? Hey, now in the time of COVID, I probably want that discount. Give me back that Friendly's discount. I'll lighten my hair up.
Yeah, because they do raise the price of everything in this COVID because, like, I mean, I haven't been to the nail salon, but I know that their prices have gone up just through word of mouth. And significantly go up, because during the heat of the virus, and probably now too, people weren't going because they were afraid of transmission there.
Right.
And then, like, maybe around last summer, people started to go back, but it was still higher because they had these restrictions on how many could be in it, and what they had to do, like, to clean up between people. So they couldn't turn as many services. And so, it sort of left them stuck, not making as much money and having to raise the price of it to recoup it.
Right. Listen, the rent amnesty, or whatever you want to call it, doesn't apply to commercial businesses. They still have to make their buck. They still got to pay their rent. They got to pay their electric bill. And if you've ever talked to somebody with a commercial establishment, the electric bill that they get charged is by magnitude larger than your residential bill.
Oh, sure.
It is scary as hell. Are VTTs the new way, or are gamers ready to return to the table? I know of a couple of gamers that are doing hybrid, actually, where there's a table game going and one or two players are playing virtually. So I think VTTs they were here before, and I think that they've certainly going to pick up a large amount of usage compared to 2019. I think the bulk of that usage is going to remain. Because I'll be honest with you, I mean, I played at a table out in Long Island regularly for almost a year, I guess, every other week, and it was a lot of fun. But it was a 2.5 hour drive out there on a Thursday afternoon, thanks to traffic, and close to an hour coming home, in addition to the game time. I play on a VTT. I'm sitting at my desk here or sitting at the desk in the bedroom, and hey, guys, hold on a second. I got to make a bio break, and I turn off the camera and I go and I take a pee, right? Or Rach has a question for me. She can ask me a question. I don't have to waste 3 hours of my day commuting to the game.
Well, what's nice about it is that it takes out the barriers.
Right.
And just like other hobbies and things like that went online, it made it more accessible to people who might not have ever given it a shot before.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think for all groups and all players that VTTs will suffice, and that's fine. But here I'll drop this one on Rachel right now. So a week from Monday, Joe the lawyer is going to be running a playtest of his new OSR system.
Okay.
And he's invited myself and Greg and Tim and Rob and I believe Matt. So these are all people that some of them I haven't gained with ever, some I have, but people that I really know. So we'll be doing this on Monday nights. So right as Rach transitions into quasi-retirement, when she gets away from social work and moves on to yoga, doing the yoga business, when she moves on to the yoga business, right? I'm going to be adding in a little bit of gameplay on Mondays. Now, that I'm going to tell you right now, this is gameplay with, here, I'm just going to mention states. New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Tennessee. Anybody else that I miss?
The other guy in Georgia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Greg,
sorry,
right?
sorry,
Georgia?
Greg. Georgia. So this is like all over the East Coast, right?
And well, that's good. Nobody has to get confused about time
differences. Yeah, it's only one time zone. But here's the thing: we couldn't do that without a VTT, right? You couldn't do that. And these are people I enjoy playing with, and I enjoy playing with them on a VTT. Most of my gaming over the last dozen years has been on VTTs. There's no harm in that. If I had an OSR group of people that I was friends with nearby to me in Queens, I'd jump on it, but I don't. And I'm not looking to play 5e at some game store or, I don't know, coffee shop. 5e doesn't do it for me. Again, it would have to be I like the group, and whatever system they're playing, I'll play. I'm not looking to play 5e with a random group.
Okay, Goldilocks.
Wait. You're the Goldie.
This group is to this. This group is to that.
Hey, wait a second. You're Goldie.
It has to be just this or just that.
You're Goldilocks.
Not in temperament.
No, I know. Well, my son refers to my wife sometimes as Goldilocks.
Yeah, he does.
No, it doesn't. You know what, James? You know what? Face-to-face gaming is great, and face-to-face gaming, especially in a pickup game like a convention game, is almost necessary. It's very hard to run a pickup game or a convention game online. I've done it. It's not as satisfying.
Would Zoom be a good?
I don't know if you could do the map.
I guess because you could share the map by sharing the screen.
Yeah, but then
that's a nice feature,
right? But like I like to use Fog of War. I don't want to share the whole map. I want to share where they're at. If they haven't seen a spot, they shouldn't see that part.
Oh, or if you could just show them the map at different parts. So having different documents of the map, different parts of the map that are part of the place that you share.
Yeah, I don't know Zoom well enough to say one way or the other.
Yeah, but I think you'd have to have like it zoomed on a document and then screenshot or just share it that way.
Yeah, you're getting too technical there. So now James wants to know, otherwise we play computer games, right? And here's to your point. When I was playing Roll20 with my friends when my son was living here, and he'd come along and go, "What the hell are you doing?" I go, "Oh, I'm playing D&D." Not graphical enough. And he'd kick into that and walk away. But when I'm playing on a VTT, and I'm going to tell you right now, I've played VTTs without voice, and I played VTTs without video. Voice and video, that's semantic. With an established group, you probably don't need to use video. But if you have voice and video, and I think for most groups, it would mean that most players at the group have two screens. I have two screens at both of both of the desks that I use, so I can have up the VTT and then have up Discord or Skype or whatever you're using for voice and video. That voice and video, that makes it very close to face-to-face. And with the right group, when I say the right group, the group that tells fucking bullshit stories and talks about their work drama and talks about cracking jokes and it's politically incorrect, and the game will suddenly stop if somebody's something in game brings up a 5-minute story of horribleness gone wrong, like at a real table. You forget that you're playing at a VTT until you go, oh, bio break, and mute and turn off the screen so they don't see you playing in your underwear as you go to the bathroom, right? Mm-hmm. There's the right group, with an established group of people that you already have a bond with. The difference is, I believe, almost imperceptible. It's so damn close that the convenience is worth missing out on that face-to-face. Mm-hmm. That being said, do I still enjoy getting together with Joe the lawyer, preferably a couple times a year?
But funny enough, like we get together, but we don't game.
Right, we get together. It's to socialize.
Yeah, we're
talking and having
eating and drinking.
Right, going to the complete
shopping.
You know, and when I go to conventions, I don't go to conventions necessarily to game. I go to conventions to talk to people, to socialize. That's why I go. I want to hang out and meet people in the community. that's kind of why I do these, daily videos and do these live streams. I want to interact with the community. The gaming is something that I do with the community, and I can do that very well with the right people in the community on the VTT with voice and video. Like I said, except for maybe somebody farting at the table, or playing a practical joke like, I don't know, squeeze cheese in the ring dings when they were wrapped in tinfoil. I did that. Those jokes that need to be in person. We've had those moments that the table just loses it, and at the DM, everybody has to just kind of giggle it off for a few minutes, just like a real table. I don't know if you get that with a pickup group, or your group has to bond to get to that point. The bonding takes longer over a VTT. I will say that. Well, that's why voice and mannerisms are essential. Voice, I think, is certainly instrumental in. Again, when I first started doing VTTs, my return to gaming was Fantasy Grounds, and it was all text, and it was good, but it wasn't great. It sufficed. I'll be honest with you, it kind of felt like pushing tokens on a computer game, with some more role playing aspects to it. But once I moved to voice, when we used to do Roll20 within Google Hangouts, total game changer, total game changer. Voice and video, amazing.
Does that Roll20 thing still work?
Well, here's the thing: Roll20 no longer integrates with Hangouts. The reason why we used to integrate it with Hangouts is because the Roll20 voice and video was horribly buggy a couple of years ago. We haven't gone back to trying it. Usually, when I do an online group now, it's Roll20, and by the way, I'm a minimalist too. When I use these virtual tabletops, I don't use miniatures at my table, so I don't use pogs on my VTTs. What I do is I use fog of war to reveal parts of the map as the party goes through it. Because the worst part to me was always getting an accurate map for the players. This takes that part away. I don't need that drama. However, you show me where you are by taking the pointer and pinging the screen. I'm not going to take my time moving the enemy. I'll point out and show you where they are. And it's a hybrid theater of the mind deal. If you want to roll your dice on your table or roll your dice on the screen, usually I don't care either way. I usually roll mine on the screen, kind of like being out in the open. But yeah, I think that voice at the minimal is necessary. And I can understand not using video for online convention games or pickup games, because maybe you don't want, maybe you got to say something that's politically or socially incorrect in one of your stupid jokes, because don't we all do that? And you don't want your face associated with that audio. I understand that. But when you're playing with a group of friends and you've bonded with, and there's certain dynamics, because your gaming group gets these dynamics, right? You don't worry about that.
Well, there's a whole in-group thing that takes its time to develop, like jokes and
right. So, I mean, back when we used to have a regular Saturday night group, and listen, as Rach used to be fond of. Rach, what did you say when I started gaming on Saturday nights? What was the benefit that you saw?
I was like, oh, I know where you're at.
Saturday night, I'm not at a bar. Not at a.
You're not in any a thing that could screw with your judgment,
right,
or get you hurt, or whatever.
Right, jeopardize my employment.
Yeah, that too. Good.
Right, where was I? I was literally in the next room until 1:30 in the morning, rolling dice and telling stories and cracking jokes with my friends. And when I was done, I stumbled out, went to the bathroom, and went to bed. What's more convenient than that? So there's a huge convenience factor to VTTs. Again, if you told me, hey, we're starting up an OSR gaming group a block from your house or a mile from your house for once a month, I'd be all over that.
Yeah.
But there isn't one. And I don't think I'm at the point where I want to spend another 2.5 hours in traffic on a Thursday night or a Thursday evening to get to a game. Because I did it, and the game was good, and the people were great. Don't get me wrong. Bonds were made, but in the long run, it was exhausting. And I wasn't working, but it was a lot for a couple of hours of gaming. And when you get into your 50s, I don't know, you get that feeling.
Well, you were happy to go, and you didn't miss it, so that's something.
Yeah, there is something to be said for the whole socialization factor. Craig, all spouses like gamers for that reason. Yeah, you know where we are, and it is true. Listen, even on those Thursday nights, you knew where I was going, and it wasn't a group that broke up the game. We finished gaming at 10:15, 10:30,
right,
and everybody went home. Maybe you hung out in the parking lot for 10, 15 minutes doing a game wrap up and telling stories, but it wasn't like, hey, now let's go hit the bar.
Right.
No, none of that. And I certainly wanted to get home because I wanted to see my lovely wife before she went to sleep to go to work. So again, VTTs have a huge benefit, especially as we're older. Those of us with children of the age that you still need to supervise them, you can do that playing on a VTT. You can be there. You can still take care of some of your adult responsibilities while enjoying your escapism, which you can't do if you're not going to take your 4-year-old with you to the game store for your 3-hour game session. Because if you do, I'm going to tell you right now,
they're going to tell you not to come back.
That's the reaction you're probably going to get because nobody wants that drama in their game. So, but these connections that we make, this escapism, is a huge part of our mental health. I mean, suicides are up amongst the under 18 category because of COVID. Or should I say, during the time of COVID, these suicides are up. Can you say for sure that there's a causation? I can assume it. It certainly looks like it. Just like you can say when police officers are under increased stress, that suicides go up. These children were not getting a chance to socialize. Socialization is what forms children's emotions and their ability to
problem solve and develop self-esteem
and deal with others.
Yeah.
And they weren't getting that either through homeschooling or going back with the COVID mask on. It changes it. When you're wearing that mask, hey, wearing a mask is a lot like playing a VTT with just voice, right? You miss out on those facial expressions. It's harder to judge. Is there an undertone going on to what that person said to me? They just told me to go fuck myself, but were they smiling when they said it? It was like, go fuck yourself. Or were they, go fuck yourself? You're not going to see it. You're not going to see the expression that's attached to it.
Right. You can't really do that.
Masks are rough, and that's a formative time for children to learn how to interpret facial expressions. And we're taking that away from them. So it's rough.
Yeah, it's going to be weird, like, as this generation, like, grows up, and, like, the kids that are, like, really young, like, 2, 3, 5, and their parents, like, follow those government recommendations of wearing masks in the house. Like, when you show them those emotions chart, with the smiley face, or the emojis,
right?
They're not gonna know. Like, what is that? They're gonna be like me. When I see those emotions, I'm like, what is that trying to say? Oh, okay, that thing is crying, so it must be sad.
Well, you have to look closer at it. That's not.
Yeah.
It's not the issue of not being able to interpret it.
Yeah.
You just got to get a little bit closer
to
properly see it.
Right.
These kids need to go, I have no fucking clue what this shit means.
Yeah, exactly. They have no idea. You know, I don't know. I feel I've always been dependent on being able to like read how people are responding or be sensitive to someone's emotions so that you know how hard you can push on certain things and when to, pull back up on it.
Yeah.
If you don't have that ability, you're gonna alienate a lot of folks.
But not only that, I mean, like Rach, you've been doing your job as a social worker from home.
Yes.
Okay. I've been retired throughout the pandemic, but I can only imagine what it would be like where every complainant and every suspect that I dealt with was wearing a mask, because it's hard enough to identify somebody without a mask. Now they're all wearing a mask, or they were, right? And when you're dealing with somebody, even a witness, you're looking at facial expressions, you're looking at the eyes, you're looking at the mouth, you're looking at that full facial picture to enable you to judge, am I being told the truth? Are they holding something back? All this stuff out the window. You don't have it anymore. And that's
I don't have to be with people wearing their mask or,
Yeah, it's rough. I don't have an answer for it.
Yeah.
I wish I did. I don't think that's an easy answer for it. By the way, this week our window is closed. I can hear the karaoke in the background.
Oh yeah, I was hearing a male voice in the microphone. I don't know if it's karaoke yet.
No, it's
some talking.
Yeah, it's probably karaoke. But we still have the AC going because it's cooled down to 82. It was like 86 when we started this.
Yeah, it's supposed to go in the 70s.
Yeah, so tomorrow might be like a relatively normal day for us. We might be away from this.
Yeah, I think it's 85 for tomorrow.
Is it? No,
yeah.
Not as cool as I was hoping it would be.
Maybe for the early part of the day.
Maybe. Folks, as always, thank you for joining us. Really. And I know we say all the times, well, we do this for you. No, we do this for us too. This is important for us to share with you.
Our observations of certain things.
Yes.
That we're dealing with here.
Right. If you
might be different in other parts of the country. So, thank you for giving feedback about the way you experience different stuff too. So
right. And you are not alone. If you are experiencing issues of isolation or whatever, especially because of COVID, you're not alone. You should understand that you're not alone. We have a phone number, 347. Oh Jesus. 34. I'm gonna have to check the banner. Hold on. I feel like 347-509-5168. 347-509-5168. Leave a message. Okay. If you have something you want us to talk about, certainly leave a message. But if you just want to share and have somebody listen, we will listen. And if you don't want us to share it online or on those videos, we won't. And if you want us to share it, we will. But it's as private as you want it or need it to be. Okay, but we do care. This is our community. Rach is stepping away from social work. She's not stepping away from healing.
Right.
Okay, she's moving on to yoga.
A different type.
Right. At some point, probably for the end of the year, Rach should probably have a video or two up of yoga or meditation so people in this community can access it for free, and we'll find out a way to get her maybe her own yoga channel. And we'll definitely talk about it here. But these are all things that we're in the progress of trying to set up to enable Rach to move on to the next part of her healing career or part of her life. And I'm excited. So 3 more working days for Rachel, and as a social worker, unless she goes back to social work down the line. Who knows? Maybe it's one of those things you just can't get rid of.
I don't know. We'll see.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. Folks, we've already spoken about COVID, so I'm not going to.
We don't need to
beat you over the head with it.
That one.
That horse is dead and then some. I will say, be safe, be well. God bless each and every one of you. You don't believe in a higher power? I hope the universe takes care of you in a good way. Not like I hope the universe takes care of you.
Sort you out.
Yeah. No, I just really I hope things go well.
May the universe be kind.
Yes. Roll your dice, roll them well. I will be back tomorrow. It won't be live. The next live stream will be Wednesday night, 8 p.m. with Bad Mike. Before we logged into this, I believe we had 965 subscribers. If you're listening to this, you haven't subscribed, you like what we do, please subscribe. When we hit 1,000, I'm giving away $500 in drive-through RPG gift certificate monies. Money's going to be left on the table if we don't get there.
Oh, we have to let them know about some upcoming programming that we have.
Yes,
we're heading towards. So,
could be next week.
We'll see what we can get our hands on.
Right.
So there, we wanted to do a taste test and explore some of those non-alcoholic, low carb.
We're going to try some
beers?
Non-alcoholic beers, preferably low carb.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do another episode where at one point in it, we're going to do some light beers and discuss the carbs and the taste and kind of give our feedback on what we think would be the choices.
Wine.
Wine.
So there's low carb wine.
Yes.
A couple of different brands that we have encountered along the way and have enjoyed.
Yes.
Enjoyed, and then whatever else we can find as we search so that we can give a pretty extensive test and open our horizons too. So
it's not going to be it's not going to be the all alcohol episode. No, it's going to be one episode. We'll do a little non-alcoholic beers and then talk about some other stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
And then another one we're going to do the light beers. Another one, again, discuss the carbs, especially if you're somebody who's a diabetic. That's an important one. And again, with the wines, low carb often means low calorie. And for some people, again, like me as a diabetic, I find it's important to, when I can, go for a low carb wine. So these are all things that we're looking to do. So, maybe as the summer winds down, we're gonna have. Oh my God!
Right, and maybe we could even do some of those cookies.
We could try to do
some a snack, like a savory snack episode. We could do a sweet snack episode.
She's already thinking about stepping away from her employment. She's already wow. It's so exciting.
There's a whole bunch of stuff we can do.
A whole bunch of stuff we can do, man. So it's exciting. You see, this is why I'm looking forward to her retirement almost as much as she is. Folks, again, thank you so much. Really,
thank you.
All of you, live listeners, those that listen to this later, really, thank you so much. All right, folks. On that note, we're out of here. Later.